Boom. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be talking about some AI, strategic investing. That sounds interesting for you? Then stick around. Let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life. Prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is a trailblazer in AI. He is a savvy entrepreneur and a forward-thinking investor with a vision for innovation and a passion for transforming industries. He's revolutionizing how businesses grow by leveraging cutting-edge technology and strategic thinking. So he's turning big ideas into actionable results and empowering others to embrace the future. His journey is nothing short of inspiring. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Adam Chronister. All right, Adam, welcome to the program, man.
Going well. How are you?
All right, let's do this. I like to start every show with kind of getting the plug out here at the very beginning. So if you can kind of share with us pretty simply, what is it that you do when it comes to AI and investing? What is it that you do for a living?
Yeah, so I can break those things out. Those are all separate areas of my life, but they absolutely collide. So my day job or business, so to speak, is an agency called Enleaf. We're a digital marketing agency focusing on website design and search marketing. So that's SEO, Google Ads, all things search engines, the things that require your business, your company to show up prominently in search so you get more traffic, visibility, and conversions. And of course, that funds, many of the other things I do, from real estate investing to stocks, and cryptocurrency. So those things kind of feed into what sometimes I call the wealth triad. Essentially, the business funds the real estate, and the real estate funds the stocks and cryptocurrencies, and allows me to live a life of fun and passion. So,
all right, let's talk about the engine there. Then the nice little cash flow machine that you got going here, the agency. Tell me about what a traditional agency would normally be looking like, and how has that kind of transformed to an AI agency today?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of agencies, from your social media marketing to your traditional media, venues. Like I said, we focus primarily on search marketing. We're a very data-driven kind of marketing company, so less so on the, video and multimedia side of things, but more so on the data insights. So for us, it's all about finding data and developing data-driven strategies to help businesses succeed. To your question on where does AI fit into this realm, we, as is so many other businesses and agencies, have really started to adopt and implement AI, not only into the assets that we provide our customers. Of course, content is kind of a no-brainer these days. Everyone's using AI as a baseline of their content. But we've taken it a lot further. We actually leverage AI into things like our client keyword research. We have processes that will automate brand development strategies utilizing AI. Those sorts of things. So essentially, we've taken a lot of the processes that used to be fairly manual and kind of hand-driven, and figured out ways to automate those into streamlined processes. So that's kind of a high-level overview of what we've done to leverage AI, but happy to dive more into that.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the kind of. I feel like when people look at AI, for example, there's so many broad things, especially with today and what's going on in New Jersey. Everybody has this different idea of what AI is. and they want to utilize it, but they might feel like they don't know how. As an entrepreneur who wants to focus on their craft rather than maybe focusing on their marketing, how can you kind of help them understand what this process is and how easy it is for them to utilize it in their business today, maybe by working with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest thing is really just to go out there and start dabbling with it, right? Think about the things that you do every day, and start from there. I think for me, like one of the things I do every single day is I've ended up using tools like ChatGPT and the other various LLMs, large language models, for little things like helping craft my emails, right? So I would say if you're just getting started, you're a business owner or entrepreneur, like start there. Figure out how can I craft more compelling emails? How can I proofread my emails? And then from there, typically that's going to open up, the ideation mind share for what other things you can be doing. But that's a good place to start. One of the things that we implement that is a couple stages beyond that, but still very accessible, is we use a lot of third-party tools. One in particular that has kind of helped us build a lot of tools and systems is a tool called ChatGPT for Sheets and Docs. This is essentially a Google Chrome plugin that allows you to incorporate ChatGPT's AI capabilities into Google Sheets and Google Docs. Mm-hmm. And there's just a ton of cool things you can do. For instance, we leverage what we call prompt stacking. So whereas you might go to ChatGPT and you have to do one prompt at a time, a system like this allows you to essentially stack multiple prompts inside of a Google Sheet. And more and more people are also going to be starting to hear about AI agents. So this is something that is now also accessible with tools like ChatGPT, where you can either leverage other people's agents that they've created or even craft your own. And these are like somewhat autonomous systems that are kind of pre-designed and pre-built based on different prompts that can somewhat automate processes for you. So that's another thing that the audience here might want to start looking at, because that's going to become more and more of a future set down the road. So take for example, let's take a lawyer. You may have tens and thousands of levels of documentation. You can now upload that into a system and create a system where you can quickly reference that instead of having to peel through tons and tons of books. So that's just one example use case.
I love the thought of using AI, mainly in lead gen, because whenever I've in the past, when you've worked with clients, I'm sure you've come across where you're generating leads for that client, but their response time isn't necessarily the greatest. And so what would have been a great lead had it been responded to immediately turns into, why are you giving me these bad leads? These leads suck. And it's usually that response time. As a business owner, why can you kind of harp on that conversion rate increase because of the usage of AI? I love some of these automations you can put in place. Can you give me another example of something like that, a use case where somebody can utilize that and help increase either bookings or sales or even follow-up?
Yeah, I can give you one example there. So I know for myself, for instance, I'm not the greatest with content, right? I'm by no means an expert like copywriter, but now with the use of AI, I can take my thoughts and my ideas, and with a simple prompt, I can re-articulate that baseline of ideation into something that looks like it was written by a professional sales copy writer, right? So a lot of times I will take my ideas, like the general email that I would write that maybe is at a lower level writing standard, and I'll run it through ChatGPT or another system and say something to the extent of writing as an expert sales copy with over 10 years of experience in creating high converting copy. I want you to update and review this content, making editorial recommendations or suggestions. And that's the kind of thing I do on just a daily basis, and that doesn't require any special knowledge or any plugins. Simply just opening up your favorite LLM, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or any of these. A lot of them are going to do that job. And so if you're not doing that kind of thing already, just as a general business practitioner, like that is really a no-brainer, right? And I think AI is, in some extent, it's a great equalizer, right? It gives us access and ability to complement the things that we're already doing at a capacity and a means that maybe we didn't otherwise have.
Dude, it's changing a lot of the structure of what a business needs as far as manpower compared to what you can automate in the back end. It is completely drastically changing things. Entrepreneurs who used to have to go and find one or two people to maybe answer the phone and set appointments for you so that you can go out and make sales, almost all those can be very automated processes that get you, equal to, if not better results than what a human can. It's kind of scary on the one sense, but on the other side, being able to utilize these tools to your advantage to help entrepreneurs do what they wanted to do best in the first place usually is the task at hand. For a lot of these people, they just want to kind of take control of their lives, and you're helping them do this type of thing. How complex is it to set one of these up? It sounds cool when you say what these things can do, but when the entrepreneur sits down, they're like, yeah, well, what do I have to learn? Now, what do I have to do? I have to learn this whole other thing, helping me get from point A to point B.
Well, I can give you another example really quick. And this is an example of a way that I've utilized AI outside of my general business, but back more into the investing side of things, if you're interested in that. So I'll give you an example. I have a self-directed stock investment portfolio, and personally, I like investing in technology-based growth stocks, for instance. And I had a circumstance where essentially all of my stocks had multiple gains except for one. I had invested in PayPal, and my PayPal was in the red, right? And so for those that are familiar with investing, you can essentially sell one stock at a loss to make up the difference for your gains and basically obfuscate taxes. But it requires, it would require a ton of math or me, picking up the phone and absorbing time with an accountant. So essentially what I did is I took a screenshot of my portfolio and I said, I uploaded that to ChatGPT-4, which allows you to upload, photos. I said, this is my stock portfolio. I want to sell this PayPal stock, which is, at a deficit of, I don't know, maybe it was 7 to 10K. I don't remember exactly. But then I want to then purchase across the other stocks. So essentially, I was able to use ChatGPT to figure out how I could sell one stock and buy others without creating a taxable event. Basically, it leveled the playing field. So that's one example of, another way or means by which you can leverage AI just in your day-to-day basis, right? There's a lot of people that are leveraging AI for stock analysis as well. And there's not an area, I think, in general, in most scenarios where AI isn't going to start to impact and influence things. And so I'm at the extent or kind of at the arena where I want to take advantage of that scenario instead of, get behind.
Oh, 100%. I teach a high school class, and I've already started kind of incorporating a lot of that thought process in the classroom, because the conundrum is kind of like when the calculator first came out. When calculator comes out, all of a sudden teachers like, no, you can't use that thing. That thing does all the math for you. Right. And as we have learned, it becomes a tool that allows you to do more and more advanced things. And that's kind of how we have to look at AI. It can be used as a tool to do things for you, but it could also be used as a tool to enhance some of the creativity of the things that you are already doing. I'm curious, you've shared what you've been doing on the agency side. You've shared what you've done on the stock side. Have you used it at all on the real estate side?
Not as much on the real estate side, but in general, the other area that I like to utilize AI, and you do have to be somewhat careful with this, but for general like legal documentation, like your general contract stuff, it can do really well, right? You can put in general English like, I want to make an agreement between me and business B. I want it to be 3 months long. I'll upload the statement of work that I create for the client and the price points, and then I'll say I'm in Washington State and my client's in California, and it will put together a really well out articulated like contract, right? That in most cases, unless you're doing like really abstract like contracts, is gonna hold up, right? And so that's another area where overnight I can create much more sufficient agreements than maybe I had prior, right? And it will catch things that I, as a layman, someone who's not familiar with law per se, otherwise would not.
You think that there's any way or fear of like a Terminator style type AI thing, or is that like we're too far away from that? I mean, Google just announced the whole Willow's quantum computing chip, and all of a sudden I'm hearing things like multiverse in real life conversations. Are we just like, we get to play with this cool little tool that we think is awesome that solves some of our little problems, but do you see it going somewhere major? I know it's super sci-fi type question, but I'm kind of curious.
I think about these things a lot. I do see things happening already, which are concerning, right? So, for instance, there's a story floating around where I believe it's ChatGPT 3.0. Recently, the development team looked to basically dissolve that, to delete it. And as the story goes, essentially the version had obfuscated itself and kind of disguised itself to prevent deletion, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's other scenarios where they've created autonomous AIs, and they've leveraged essentially deception to get around, for instance, CAPTCHAs. There's one story where the AI posed as somebody who was seeing impaired, went on a site, I believe it was TaskRabbit, to get an actual human to bypass a CAPTCHA. And then a third story is one where, and you can look this up, you can do a Google search for the first AI millionaire, where an AI went out and basically created buzz on the web, on social media, to hype up a cryptocurrency coin. And since then, there's been numerous. There's now this term AI coins, where a lot of these meme coins have AI powering them to get essentially influence and awareness out online to pump up this coin, right? Now, of course, somebody has to initially set that directive, but once the directive's set, like sometimes you don't know where that's going, and so it can be exciting, but I do think there are some honestly, some implementations that we have to be mindful of, right? So we are kind of really in the Wild West. I'm definitely along for the ride, but also cautiously looking at, where it could change the way that we live our life day to day.
Bro, AI can be such an intense business topic, and you get into automations and AI employees and missed call text back and all these cool features that you can talk to, but you can get super cool in like sci-fi too, that can be essentially a reality. Things like driverless vehicles is another one that's blowing my mind. Like that's gonna be right around the corner. I got an EV car, and it's a pretty smart car. It like sometimes is annoying in how good of a driver it is compared to the way I want to drive.
Right.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it's weird that when you're describing things like ChatGPT 3.0 hiding itself, and I'm thinking Iron Man, like Jarvis did the same thing in Age of Ultron. Like this is sci-fi becoming reality. How crazy is it to think that we could be in a simulation. We could be living a version of the Matrix or stuff like that. And yet we're here talking about it in applicable, practical, tactical things that we can use on a daily basis as well. Does it blow your mind too?
It does, yeah. I mean, just the other day I was, it's funny, I was taking actual facts I was finding online of different projects. So there's one, it's called Archer Aviation. It's actually a new stock position I'm looking at. Essentially, they're working on rotary type vehicles, essentially like human driven drones, right? And they have a partnership with another holding that I have. And just so that I'm clear, this isn't investment advice. This is my own stock portfolio. But they have a connection with Palantir, another position I have. And so I took all these facts of these projects, and then I kind of created this fictitious article based on this, with the hypothesis that all of these drones that people are kind of concerned about in New Jersey, that it's essentially AI that's gone rogue and is controlling secret government drones, right? And this is all essentially like me creating my own sci-fi story in my head. But I put all these facts together and I came up with my hypothesis. And then I told ChatGPT, I want you to put this all together and write it as if you're a Wall Street Journal journalist, right? And I sent it to a few folks, friends and family, just to kind of test the waters and be like, okay, how believable is this? Because it's got real fact citations. It's written like a professional. And yeah, I had one family member, she's, very concerned, like, oh my God, right? And I even went to the point where I'm like, yeah, the AI, because it has a wealth of access to knowledge, it looks at fiction like The Matrix and like Terminator and like iRobot, and it can't distinguish between fact and reality. And so it's taken that narrative and created a protagonist antagonist type scenario. And again, this is all made up, but it's almost believable, right? To the point where you could almost see something like that happening.
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculously scary how things are moving. I'm 42 years old, and I feel very old when I say things like, when I was a kid, there was no internet, and compared to today, where I'm like, I'll just talk to my ChatGPT and it'll give me whatever information I want in the format that I'm looking for, revised or translated or whatever. It's like taking the internet and like just giving it a whole new life. It's incredible. So just so we make sure we come back on topic, take me back to Enleaf. With all these things going on, the totally different paths that you can go on with this AI thing, what's up with Enleaf?
Yeah, as far as like what kind of things were we working on?
Yeah, what do you guys do exact? I mean, I know you said at the beginning, I just kind of want to bring it back too.
Yeah. So a lot of our stuff is just, client-based projects. Like we work with all kinds of clients, from SaaS businesses, e-commerce, SMBs. Really, most of the people that come out and, come to us are looking for ways to get more visibility and more awareness online. Business that they're trying to attract a larger client base. And so we'll come up with a strategy, from branding to website design onto the digital marketing strategy. Really, our objective is to occupy what I call digital real estate, right? If you think of the search engines as a neighborhood, we want our clients to be as visible as possible and in front of those potential prospects that are doing those research queries or even have an intent to buy, right? So we've had a lot of opportunities to help numerous businesses across industries. We've seen multiple businesses exit into the multiple millions, and so that's always really rewarding to take businesses from the ground floor and see them exit. It's a lot of fun. It's obviously a dynamic and changing environment, especially as it relates to search versus AI and LLM. And so, it's always kind of a learning curve, but we can kind of take a lot of that friction out of it so that, our business owner partners can stick to what they do best, and we can help them with the marketing.
100%. Well said. Let me ask you about contact information. If people want to reach out to you, they want to find out more about their businesses. Maybe they want to know if their business is ready for that next level, that scalability side. How can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, honestly, the best thing to do if you want to reach me or our team is just go to nleaf.com. It looks like you got that URL on the screen, so I appreciate that. We'd love to chat with you. Consultations are always free, so whether you want us just to see if there's opportunities in your business or just want to, spitball with us and figure out what options there are in 2024, 2025 as far as getting more visibility to your business, we're happy to chat with you and learn more about what you do and show you what we can do as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of this opportunity. Start learning how to implement AI, automation, some of the cool tools that Adam is talking about. Make sure you guys go to nleaf.com to make sure get yourself set up. I promise you, future you will love the time that you free up, the increase in conversions that you can get, the automations that save you time. That's what you're looking for in your business. At the end of the day, you got in it to make money, but for what? So that you can buy yourself the time and the freedom that you're looking for. nleaf.com. Make sure you guys check that out. Adam, before we head out, I got one more hypothetical for you, dude. Let's say that Elon and his robots become a real thing. We're feeding AI so much information that it is going to be a very good product when it comes out. It gets better and better. You have the opportunity to buy one. What do you name it? And what's the thing that converted you to buy it?
Oh, man, I'd have to think about a name, but the first thing that comes to mind is Otis. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. That's just what popped in my head. Sounds fitting for a robot, right?
Cool,
as far as what I would have it do, I don't know. I'd look for the first thing that I don't like doing, like washing the dishes or cleaning the house. That would be task number one, but I'm sure it wouldn't take long before I'd be having it do a lot more intricate tasks, assuming its capabilities, right? So.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. Getting one, I don't know if I'd instantly I'd want to go with Jarvis, but I know there's too many of those, so I have to come up with something good. I don't know. But it'd be interesting, and I definitely would be fearful. Like, I don't know if I could sleep with that thing in the same room.
Make sure it's powered down at night, right?
You plug yourself in the garage, buddy. Like that's where you're gonna go. Exactly. All right, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning in today. nleaf.com. Make sure you guys get all your marketing help that you need. Adam can definitely sit down, have a conversation. There's so many different opportunities out there. You guys got to take advantage. At least start the conversation so you know what exists. nleaf.com. Make sure you guys check it out. Adam, thank you very much for being on the program today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
It's over. Go home.
Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to